I just had one of those moments, one of those highly coincidental moments where the evidence, not the evidence, let me take that word back because that's a very strong word, but the signs and the fingerprints of any kind of simulation talk that now scientists and physicists are starting to have, okay? And there's one thing that you cannot do. You cannot have this, after all, it is a theory, and I'm no creationist either. Well, shit, I mean, it's kind of difficult to explain where I stand on that because I do not follow any Abrahamic religion, and we're not even talking about messiahs and religions and the God of the Bible, because there's a big difference between the God of the Bible and Creator God. You feel me? Like, and that's something that even the church doesn't want to have, right? But now, well-known physicists are having the conversation of simulation talk. And, you know, this goes back several years now, okay? I mean, several decades, but more recently, a lot of people have been talking about this on the socials. And you can see these, like, in-depth video analysis on YouTube of people who follow this theory, okay? And we're beyond flat Earth, okay? We're beyond that because both flat Earth and globe Earth, they can have their discussions, go head-to-head, Royal Rumble all they want, and they're never going to get anything done. They're never going to accomplish anything. No side is going to convince the other side that their side is right? Or that their side is wrong, right? We're beyond all of that. I forget the name of... He's quite possibly one of the most famous and smartest people on Earth, and he is a famous physicist. He's still alive today. And he was ridiculed on stage. You can find that video on YouTube of Neil deGrasse Tyson was actually saying, well, hold on, you're saying that there's actually evidence, mathematical evidence of there being ones and zeros programmed in our universe. And he was like, yeah, there is, you know, after several debates and discussions, we came to the realization that there is binary code written within the fabric of our universe, right?
Wait, I have to just be silent for a minute here. So you're saying as you dig deeper, you find computer code writ in the fabric of the cosmos?
Into the equations that we want to use to describe the cosmos, yes.
Computer code?
Computer code, strings of bits of ones and zeros.
It's not just sort of resembles computer code, you're saying it is computer code.
It's not even just is computer code, it's a special kind of computer code that was invented by a scientist named Claude Shannon in the 1940s. That's what we find very, very deeply inside the equations that occur in string theory and in general in systems that we say are supersymmetric.
Okay. Time to go home, I think. I mean, where are we going to go? So are you saying we are all just, there's some entity that programmed the universe and we're just expressions of their code?
Well, I didn't say that. Some of those
like the Matrix? That's what you said.
Some of those codes are showing on the screen behind you right now. They don't look like codes, but these pictures, which we call adinkras, are graphical representations of sets of equations that are based on codes. So this is, in fact, to answer your question more directly, I have in my life come to a very strange place because I never expected that the movie The Matrix might be an accurate representation of the place in which I live.
Jim, may I give you an argument that we don't live in the Matrix?
Please. Yeah.
A very simple argument.
Give me one now, quick.
And so why am I talking about this? Okay, so I'm going back to watching old media, right? So I'm watching The Sopranos starting with season 1, episode 7. He is in the garage on the elliptical machine watching, I think it was the History Channel because he's a history buff, right? But do you remember how the History Channel, and by the way, you notice, not many people know this, but the H in the History Channel doesn't really stand for the History Channel. It was the H of William Randolph Hearst, his last name, from the Hearst Corporation, which was one of the big media companies in this country, right? And so not much to do with The Sopranos, but I paused it and I said, yeah, let me start researching about how like these old world, these World War II military videos used to air all throughout the 90s when cable really came a robust platform, especially paid cable, right? And those of you that got the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, which later on in the late 90s, early 2000s turned into the Military Channel and then other military spinoffs. And I used to watch that shit religiously every day, bro. Like every day that I was off, it would be like, no lie. This is before streaming video. So all you had was just like either DVD players, VHS players still in the 90s, right? And paid cable. And in my case, it was the Military Channel. And I didn't know then. I kind of had my suspicions. But later on, when I became more educated on the fact, and you fast forward to today, you look back, and that was 100% military propaganda brought to you by the Department of Defense. And that's what it is. All it is, think about it, it's just a few channels, right? Military Channel, History Channel, that they also air like military old war footage and war videos and shit like that, that were shot by these small Hollywood production companies, but in reality, they were just a front for the Pentagon, for the Department of Defense. Back then, it was called the Department of War, and then they're like, you know what, let's go with something a little more diplomatic, and they call it the Department of Defense. That's all it is today, right? And so that is nothing but propaganda. And when you think about it, all it takes is just a couple channels for them to run that shit 24/7, right? To keep the thought of the military industrial complex alive. Like, wow, look what our heroes did back in World War II, back in World War I, right? All this fucking bullshit. It's just propaganda, right? And not to take away from the heroics of American soldiers and pilots and Navy men and the Marines and all that stuff, all the four original branches of our military, not to take anything away. But then I'm like, yo, like, I remember the H in the History Channel was always named after, and that's why it's yellow. And the reason why it's yellow is because William Randolph Hearst, when he released his first magazines and papers, they were known as yellow journalism. But so basically is they grabbed a little ounce of truth and then the rest was just completely fucking made up, right? Just to sell you papers, just to sell you news, and to further push the Department of War, their propaganda onto the world's stage, correct? So to go back to The Sopranos, I paused it at that very moment and I start researching, right? Little did I know it was 222. Boom. I look back now and I'm like, yeah, it was 222. So let me continue, right? And funny enough, 2 days ago, I order, you ready? I have it right in front of me, Italian seasoning from McCormick. And I'm thinking, yes, I remember, right? William Randolph Hearst, that was what Citizen Kane was all about, right? And then you go back, hold on, watch this. You go back to Citizen Kane, which was directed by Orson Welles. I remember seeing this during film school. And Citizen Kane is actually, watch this, a quasi-biographical film examines the life of legacy Charles Foster Kane, which is the fictional character played by Orson Welles, a composite character based on American media barons William Randolph Hearst and Joseph Pulitzer, Chicago tycoons Samuel Insull, and Harold McCormick. I want you to pay close attention, right? But the reality is that it was all based on William Randolph Hearst. And over the years, they just fucking piled on all these other names just to not single out a single family. You feel me? And so that was Citizen Kane. But I'm like, Harold McCormick, like, holy shit, what is that? And I'm thinking, McCormick is such a famous family name. So Harold McCormick, a member of the McCormick family, right? And you start like researching, and I look at the back of the label of McCormick, and it was one of their brands, dude. Okay? It was one of their brands. And so I'm saying to myself, how can all this happen to me, like all these coincidences, in just a matter of just 2 days? 2 days, 3 days. Between getting season 1 of The Sopranos, right? Season 1, episode 7, he's watching the military channel, right? And I'm thinking, I'm putting all these little dots together. You feel me? And then I'm like, I just ordered Italian seasoning. I'm watching the fucking Sopranos. I order Italian seasoning out of nowhere. And I ordered it before I started downloading The Sopranos season 1. So it was always there, correct? And then I'm putting all these other dots together. I'm like, yo, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that we're living in a simulation, right? But that talk by several physicists, and remember, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say that, oh, yeah, we have evidence and we have theoretical hypothesis about the Big Bang Theory and then also have simulation talk, because here's what's going on. They know that deep down inside that independent researchers, independent scientists have been talking about this for fucking years, okay? And now they're like, yo, if we are not part of this discussion, we're going to be left out. So let's start to entertain the theory. But that famous physicists, right, that had that debate and was like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he tried his best to embarrass him. But guess what? Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's a nobody. He's just an actor, okay? This physicist, he is one of, like I said before, the smartest men in the world, bro. In the world. I forget what was his name? Hold on. Let me type it in. I got it. His name is Sylvester James Gates, and he has a PhD from MIT. He is considered the smartest man in the world. Go on Wikipedia, type in Sylvester James Gates, a black fella with gray hair, gray beard, and some glasses. Okay, born December 15th, 1950. And the name of the video is called Neil deGrasse Tyson Freaks Out When Physicist James Gates Finds Intelligent Code in Fabric of Space-Time. Okay? And if you look at his work, if you look at physicist James Gates' work, dude, he goes deep into, now remember, he's still a very influential voice in the world of science, right? So he has to be very diplomatic on the words that he chooses, okay? So, I mean, and he sits on endless amounts of boards, interviewed endless amounts of times, and he makes Neil deGrasse Tyson look like a fucking a choir boy. You feel me? And so, like, when he talks about how there is intelligent code, and he kind of hinted, listen to this, he kind of hinted how there is a growing number, listen to me very carefully when I tell you this, there is a growing number of scientists around the world, okay? I'm not telling you how to feel about anything. I'm just telling you there's a growing number of scientists around the world, like astrophysicists, string theory, fucking physicists, like all kinds of like real deep shit, like CERN type shit, okay? Who are coming to terms that they feel that there is intelligent design in our universe, and how some of these are actually low-key fucking atheists who are having second thoughts and second opinions about the reality of their entire fucking existence, bro. Okay? Remember, I didn't mention anything about Bibles. I didn't mention anything about Abrahamic religions. Those are all control mechanisms, okay? I'm not talking about scriptures. I mean, because to me, scriptures are nothing more than allegorical at best. And I have this working hypothesis, real talk. I have this working hypothesis that I seriously think, okay, that the Bible, which we know as King James Bible, right, is actually talking about technology, bro. How the 12 apostles never existed, how they were actually, and this is why Christianity doesn't want you talking about, like, astrology. They don't want you looking up at stars, something that the Egyptians were famous for, okay? And so that's what we're talking about, dude. And how, listen to this, bro, very controversial shit right here. how Jesus Christ was not a person, how Jesus Christ was actually technology, bro. And they just wrote it in the best way possible. And they made they actually made a fantasy play out of the Bible. And like the main protagonist behind this shit is the fucking Catholic Church, dog. They want you to believe in these fantasies. They want you to believe in a sky daddy, right? Because what they don't want you talking about is true. Listen to this. Like real creator source. Like real God source. I'm talking about creator God. I'm talking about like intelligent code written in the fabric of fucking space-time, bro. Okay? This is like high level shit right here, okay? And like all the research that I've been doing in the past, 20, 30 years can all be bundled up in a fucking case of Italian seasoning from McCormick, bro. Like, I'm going to start talking about some deep shit. Like, deep shit, dude. Like, and I'm going to start linking so you guys can listen if you want to other podcasts, other channels, other free thinkers, and then you make up your own mind. Until then, McCormick Italian seasoning.